Well, this is drying down here that I just showed you, but I am afraid to move it too much in case something falls off down there because everything's propped up. But I think I can look at this. I can't take the tuners off yet, but I will do. I don't want to turn it upside down. This one's a little bit stiff, but I will take those off, have a look at them, oil them up a bit. But I think I can look at this a little bit to see how we can clean it up, because I've looked at some of the other TG-0s, 4-string guitars. There's also 6-string G-0s, but don't start me on their numbering system. And some people actually go far too far with the restoration of their guitar. There's a thing you can get called Easy Coat, I think, and you paint it on and it seals the cracks. But I think to myself, a little bit mad doing that, because the cracks and the age need to show. But what I'm doing now is I'm just looking at this is a very, very fine dilute of fairy liquid, of all things, and water, and I'm just giving this a clean, and I don't see any paint coming off. There has been a coat of gloss on it, because you can see in there's highly gloss, so highly glazed I should say, rather than highly glossed. But there is a lot of dirt on this. But I'm wondering if, because that's highly glossed, once I get this cleaned up to as nice as I like it, which is not going to be much more than that, it is coming up, but as much as I like it, I'm tempted maybe I should put a coat of clear lacquer on that to bring it up to this sort of level of gloss, and that would protect it. Still let you see that, maybe not. Let me just test it with water. I still want to see the cracks and the grooves and everything in it. So, I'll think about that, but that's just me talking out loud. Now, that's very dirty. It's a bit like Baumgarten. If you ever watched Baumgarten restoration on YouTube, I've mentioned him before. Baumgarten fine art restoration. He talks a little bit too much, but then again, so do I sometimes. But it's fascinating to watch, and he has such great skills about restoring ancient paintings, and he does it in a way that's very interesting. Now you see how much dirt's coming off that. Can you see with the lighting? You can. And I'm sort of wondering how far I should go to clean it. Should that be real gold? Better gold than it is? Is there a layer of lacquer on that I should be taking off or getting down? Let me just try it on the wood. As you can see, it's actually getting a bit shiny now because I'm cleaning it. So maybe, but I'm also worried I'm starting to see a tiny, tiny touch of black, and maybe that paint is not going to be easy cleaned, and maybe I should put a coat of good lacquer on it. Is it black paint that's coming off, or is it the dirt? It's hard to tell. You'll only know whenever you go so far and it wrecks it, and I don't want to do that. You can feel that on the guitar. I don't know what that might be. I suspect it'd be paint in the 60s. I don't think they had decals. But then again, I don't know nothing. I would love to use some white spirit on it, just to see how. I'll not use acetone. I tell you what I will do. I'm going to put a tiny touch of polish, which has a slight abrasive on it, and I'm going to test a corner of this. It's just test there and see what the polish does. Doesn't seem to be taking off an awful lot. Is it doing any good? It is, yes, it's bringing up the sheen. So maybe I'll just try it a bit more, but it's not taking off the paint, which is a good thing. Yeah, no, there's no black coming off, but you can see that the sheen's coming there. So maybe I'll just do this with it all, but I think I'll just test the logo first. See how we get along with the logo with that. It'd be terrible if it was the logo came off. No black paint, no gold paint. Yeah, that's bringing the sheen up. Can you see the sheen? Can't see it as much there, but it's bringing it up, and it's not taking anything off, which is great. So I can be a little bit more confident about it and do the middle part. Dirt, just no blackness. I like the squeak. The squeak means it's clean. And you can see the sheens there. I wonder if somebody at some time has put a spray coat on it, because it looks like a very bad coat of sheen. But I'm not going to go any further than just what I have on. That bad coat of sheen, that bad coat of gloss might have done some good in keeping the guitar from being completely wrecked. Boy, have I seen some messy repairs on these things and on the net. I mean, they're still worth £700 and £800, but you over repair these things and they're ruined. I'll try to get some photographs and let you see what I'm saying by about over repair. You know, or bad repairs, or what kind of repairs, I don't know, but don't forget these guitars are 60 years old, so we're not talking somebody who knew they were going to be valuable someday. We're talking about guitars that are probably being used, and when they were broken, they just got them fixed the best they could. Right, let's do the logo and see what we can get away with here. And the second part of the wood. Nerve-wracking, especially on a guitar like this here, which is so old. I say it's so old, and it's 10 years younger than me. Eh? And we treat these things with kid gloves, but we don't treat me with kid gloves. You see, it looks nice. That looks very nice. And I think by doing this I can see that I don't need to put a coat of lacquer on. I think I will do the standard little tiny touch-ups of the wood, just to cover any little minor things. But I don't think I need to do too much to that. I don't want to turn it upside down because it's still drying on the inside, and I could disturb something up at that end, so I'll not take those off. I don't know, I'm not going to touch that to the end, so there's not much else I can do. I don't want to start doing the neck. So we'll pause there. Now I don't know if you're going to see anything, because this is very awkward. Right, let's just hope. What I'm going to try to do is inject some glue in there. Whether it's going to be successful or not is another thing for the camera. It will be successful for the guitar, but it won't be successful for the camera. Now, I don't know if I'm anywhere near it. And I don't know if I can't see it. Right, so it's dripping. I'll use my thumb. See in a second what you saw of it. I'm putting this bit of wood in for a reason. And let me look again to see if it's all cleared away. Right. And then I put this bit of wood in. See if that's done what I want it to do. I think it has. I see screws through. And I leave it now. That looks okay. It'd be interesting to see what you got. Now, that is it sitting, drying. I can't do the last strut because it is sitting clamped, a little crack in it to get rid of it. So when I finish doing that, getting that dry, 24 hours, and that 48 hours, then I come back and put the last strut in, and then get down to the real work of this guitar. Now, that is the strut pressed hard. And that's squeezed through. Now I'm going to clean it very well. It's a little bit darker color because I washed it already, but I'm going to give it another clean. Now, below where you see the tight bond, the little tiny crack is below that, and it's closed up tight. So I think that'll be good enough. Forgot about that one. Too much tight bond. I suspect that'll go away though. Okay, I'm looking. As they say, I am on a hiding for nothing because I don't know whether this is going to work or not, but I'm going to try it. Now I've got my colored pens there, and I've got a piece of wood that looks slightly like the background of this scratch or that scratch, although it's pure mahogany. So that looks a bit too yellow to me, so I'm not going to use that one. There's one that looks a bit red. Let me just see what that looks like. That looks a little bit too dark to me. Let me just see if I use my finger. Yeah, it looks too dark. Right, let's try the brown one. No, that looks too dark as well. The last one I have is this one. Oh, that looks closer, doesn't it? That one there looks closer. So let's try it up here first. Can you see the head? Let's try it up on the head of the mahogany. I think that's doing the job, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. We'll see how it does with the scratches. All we're doing is adding a little bit of color. We're not doing anything more. Let's just see what it does with the scratches. Use my finger just to take off any edges around the edge of the scratch. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? What color do they say this is? This is oak. Well, on mahogany. Well, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Yeah, did not hide a lot of sins. Let's have a look at the middle bit, which has got the scratches in it. I do this, and then I take my finger to get rid of any surplus that's around the edge of it. It's not looking too promising there, because I think it's got, yeah, there's lacquer over the top of those scratches. That's not always the best thing to do. Open wood, no, there's lacquer over the top of those scratches. Let me just go around the edges of this to see if it helps. Not even sure, because this is pressed in. I don't even think you're going to see that. So there's lacquer over the edge of those scratches, and I can't do much about it. Look, it comes off. Okay, so we got no choice there. That's going to have to stay. Let's take it down to here. I don't want to re-lacquer the neck. Can you see? This might be a bit light on it, but if it hides, it makes it a bluff. I think I may have lost you there when I was exposing Bomb Garden Restoration. It's a channel on YouTube, and the chappie must live in New York or something like that, and he restores paintings, and very badly damaged paintings, and he says the idea is not to fix the painting back to the way the artist did it, but to hide the damage so that you can enjoy the whole painting without drawing your eye to the damage. And he's quite right in that aspect. What I'm trying to do here is try to hide the damage as much as I can, and that'll let the person enjoy the guitar without the damage being to the forefront. And it's just like Bomb Garden Restoration. They're doing this to hide they're doing the restoration not to restore it back to the way Picasso did it, but to hide the damage so that people can enjoy the painting. And that's really what I'm doing too, in a much rougher fashion compared to what he does. He's a genius. I've never seen anybody like him. And his work is 10 times harder than what I'm doing here. But this is a perfect pen for this, because as you can see, the damage to this guitar scratches is being buried, should I say, rather than hidden. And whenever I polish this with wax, these little bits of damage will just vanish. Okay, I think you can see some scratches down there, but I'm going to use my polisher to go through it all. That there is the biggest damage up there, those lines, but they're relatively hidden. And then I'm going to do the sides, but I'm going to stop now, wash my hands. I want to try to get the torch shell cleaned up first, because there's a little bit of damage there that I think will polish up lovely. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give the back a little bit of a polish with wax polish. It's called Black Bison, but it's not black and it's not made from bison. It's actually a little bit yellowy color, a little bit orangey color, but it has a delightful smell to it, and it's not that hard. It's not a hard wax, but it's a delightful wax to work with because it brings up a beautiful smell to it and a lovely sheen. And it's a soft wax, which means it's not going to be hard to take off whenever you polish down to it. So I just put a mild coat on it first of all, and that takes off all the excess rubbish, bits of dirt. And then I sort of more or less polish it off, and it brings, oh, it's a lovely smell, very unusual smell, but it smells like quality furniture. Yeah, I think that's lovely. It looks, don't forget it's old, but that's beautiful. And the smell, I love it. Well, I was mighty happy with that. That looks wonderful. Now we'll get stuck on the sides and get the sides done. Might speed this up, we'll see. Now I'm going to do something with that before I try to bluff it. I'm going to try to seal that a bit, and I'm not going to do it on camera because I'm going to need to have it straight up and you won't see anything. But what I'm going to do is use water-based lacquer, dilute it a little bit and put it in there, and hopefully that'll seal up the loose bits and go into the cracks and everything. It's actually coming off in my hand and I don't want that, so I'll come back to you when I've done that. Well, I'm going to try to show you what I'm doing. Whether you'll see anything, I don't know. Let me bring you down. I've got the water-based lacquer there, and I've diluted it. I'm just going to mix it up with the water. Now, why I'm diluting it, because I want it to go inside the loose lacquer and adhere it. Whether it's going to be successful or not, I don't know. We'll soon see. We'll soon see. I'm hoping it'll go in between the cracks. Oh, did you see anything? No, you didn't see anything there. I told you wouldn't see much. Get in focus. Get in focus. Hey, get in focus. Towel, move away. That's better. You didn't get seeing much there because of the focus, but I'm letting that soak into the loose lacquer and hope that it'll stay on. Keep the lacquer there, and that's diluted. Now I'm going to just use my finger to remove, and I should have had a cloth, so there's one over there beside me, and that finger, you can see that it looks like it's going to work, and that looks like it might just hold down that loose lacquer and dry up. Can you see? I'm sorry about that. We weren't going to see anything, but get in focus. Get in focus. You can see the loose lacquer sort of is adhered. So I'm going to let that, well, I won't let that sit. I'll pull back a bit and just carry on doing the rest of the touch-up. Okay, there you go. That's, can you see it? Can you see it, Mother? Yeah, when I polish that up, that'll be fine. That won't flake off now anymore. Right, now the front. The front's going to need some special treatment, because look at that there. Beautiful. Right, okay. I don't know what this is. It looks like somebody at some stage has put on silicone on it. I'm not sure why they would put silicone on it. Maybe it buzzed when it was playing or something like that, I don't know. But it's the same on the back of this. They put little dabs of silicone. Maybe it was done at the factory to save it from buzzing, because it's done a little blob like that, but I'm not going to repeat that. I'm going to take them off. I'm not going to repeat that. Somebody suggested I should keep this flat, but it's in excellent condition, so I'm going to be putting it on very quickly. It's quite old, as I've said several times, but it's in perfect flatness. But I tell you what I'm going to do, just until I put it on. You see, it is perfectly flat. It is perfectly flat. As you can see, it's perfectly flat. I'll just set those top and tails. Right. Might speed all this up, don't know. Okay, so the next thing to do is to, the ridge has been lacquered, which is fine because it's been lacquered from the factory. It's not like it's a rosewood that hasn't been lacquered and not been treated, so that's not much I can do about that. Just cleaning a dust out of the corners. Okay, so what do I want to do next? I think what I want to do next is the neck. So I'll get back to that later.